Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. Today it's time for a Terran versus Zerg, where we find ourselves on the map Romanticide. Now spawning here in the bottom right hand corner, playing with the blue SCVs from South Korea, we have Dream. Dream is another one of those players who I really should feature on the channel more regularly, because this man, I've seen him play some phenomenal StarCraft 2. He's genuinely one of the best Terran players from South Korea, and yet the last time that I casted a game of his for YouTube was back in 2020. At the very least, as far as I could tell from my own YouTube dashboard, which is kind of ridiculous because he really is very good. Now, apparently in this particular game, alright, he's already sent out 2 SCVs towards the center of the map right here on Romanticide. That Overlord is not currently in the right direction, although the Zerg player is apparently going to go for a spawning pool first at what seems to be 16 supply. Speaking of which, playing here with the red Zerg drones, we're looking at none other than Reynor's main hatchery. And as you guys probably know by now, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, yeah, frankly speaking, I'm a bit of a Reynor fanboy. For some reason, though, he believes that I only ever cast games of him losing, which I don't know if that's true. I've definitely featured him winning a lot as well, but maybe oh, did he actually? Oh god, the Overlord actually made a little bit. Yeah, he did reroute it, as you can see. For some reason, he just barely does not see the barracks. He's still gone for a pool first, though. So pool first is not the common opener in this particular matchup. 6 Zerglings start up right away. Oh, okay. The SCVs are going to mine out apparently part of this mineral wall here, which I quite like. So these minerals over here have only 10 minerals in them in total. Obviously, an SCV mines 5 of those minerals a trip. So the second one right now is going to mine the same mineral patch as the first, and that opens up a little opportunity right now for those Marines to get towards the natural expansion a little bit faster. That being said, Reynor, I mean, he was ready to counterattack with those Zerglings, maybe kill an SCV that could be building the command center on the low ground. Good control there, though, by Dream. Oh, one of the SCVs already goes down. Good control as well by Reynor. Okay, keeping all of the Zerglings alive for now. Nicely done. Yeah, he was gonna go for what seems to be a little bit of aggression in the early game, and then he accidentally finds out that he's being cheesed. This is a pretty good start, obviously, for the Zerg player, but that being said, the second queen is going to be quite a bit later, and obviously the creep spread is not going to be that phenomenal either. Brenda, though, has already marched down the main ramp. She's going to start working right here on the SCV. SCV already pulled away from building that bunker. Good control here by Dream. SCV does eventually end up going down. Overlord actually completely misrallied. This is a uncharacteristic mistake, and that hurts a lot because Reynor does hit a supply block right now. Dream already, though, is mining a little bit of gas. He started up a factory as well. He's got an orbital command too, so this is by no means going to be an all-in. The question is, has he done enough damage? Well, he's not done yet. Obviously, with this sort of opener, Zerg will also not get link speed out anytime soon. Very nice stutter step micro right here by the Korean Terran player, and he kills a ton of Zerglings. Yeah, the micro on those was really good initially, but at this point, there's really not that much that you can do. All right. Barracks have been lifted up. They're going to start floating on home. A command center is built on the low ground as well, or it's building, I guess, on the low ground. A little bit of a gamble there, though, by Dream. I don't know if I like this CC here, because he doesn't know that this was a 16 pool into a 17 hatch with a very delayed gas. If this would have been a very quick link speed follow-up, I mean, not only would all these Zerglings die, right? Or, sorry, all of these Marines die right away. They would get killed by Zerglings. Then those Zerglings would go across the map and probably work on the command center. We do see the reactor finishing right now, so Dream probably wants to defend that with 2 of those Hellions that he can pump out at once, but little bit risky, right? Little bit risky for sure. I would have much rather seen that command center being built right over here. For some reason, all these Terran players seem to believe that that little lift up and then landing right over there, that 5 seconds or so that it takes is game ending. I'm not entirely sure if I'm convinced by that, but yeah. We'll see where this particular game goes, because none of that is happening here for the Zerg. Okay, he's just confirming right now that there's not more cheeky shenanigans. Every once in a while, we do see the factory being proxied and the starport as well. In this case, though, Reynor scouts right now as well that those barracks have returned home. 1 medevac and a couple of Hellions. Creep tumor already killed. Nicely done right here by Dream. Dream started off this game very aggressively, and he's ready to continue with that for a little while longer. Is he gonna group the Marines together with the Hellions, or is he gonna go for a drop? Link speed's still not done. Stimpack has just started up as well. Tech lab right here on one of those barracks that just returned back home. Oh, okay, so he's actually dropping off the Marines to start, I guess, working on the hatchery. And now the Hellions are loaded into the medevac to go into the natural expansion. One of the queens is already standing on the edge right here of the creep. Okay. Link speed is going to finish up in 1 second. There's not that many links available over here, but you can always pick those up as well. Oh, well, there you go. Good control. Would have loved to see the Marines actually push in at the same time, but I guess the queens over here are waiting for them. Yeah, he's just gonna walk. That's such a weird move, right? So this is, I guess, Dream giving respect to his opponent's skills. Ooh, don't lose the medevac. Knowing very well that there would be units right there on the edge of creep to get rid of those Marines, he just walked them back home. But it's a little bit awkward because he loaded them into the medevac and then did nothing with them. Medevac goes in the main base. It's in red hit points, though, so apparently one queen is going to be enough. Transfusion was used right there on one of those queens that was defending the third. And for now, at the very least, it seems like the Zerg is stabilizing. Unloads all of the Hellions to kill one Zergling. Alright, so Baneling transition right here from Reynor, of course. He's very fond of playing that Link Bane style. He's very good at it as well. Dream, very late on the double upgrades. So he's only just now starting up the NG base, although I guess the same can be said right now for the Zerg player too. Decided to go for the stim pack, of course, much quicker. Combat shield starts up right now as well. And, well, that third command center is going to finish up right around the same time as those engineering base will. Zerg's going to finish up Lair. Still no evolution chambers here, though, for Reynor. So that means that any kind of mid-game is going to be much harder to hold. The scanner right there does not reveal those creep tumors here on the bottom, so even though Reynor ends up losing a bunch of tumors, it's not the end of the world. Baneling speed is going to be favored here instead. Wonder if he's going to go for a Spire or something along those lines. Ooh, okay. Siege tank right there gunned down the creep tumor, but then apparently killed one of the Hellions there in retaliation too. A couple of links going around the back. Is there enough right now for the Zerg player to clean this up? I mean, that siege tank is looking mighty powerful. Already cleaning up 18 Zerg units, 21. Queen's actually taking a lot of damage. He's going to be forced to back up. That is a very scary position. Honestly, I don't think that Reynor really needed to engage over here, right? I mean, obviously, I understand you want to come in around the back to try and kill this, but what's it going to do? Like, it's just going to, like, kill maybe a couple creep tumors, but those were dead anyway. Alright, so 1-1, about a third of the way done. By the time that the Evo chambers are going to be able to finish up their, or I guess start up their upgrades. It's quite painful. This map is very good as far as, like, defending goes. So, I don't think you're going to be able to see a lot of Zergling run-bys. Reynor's bread and butter, of course, is going for those Zergling run-bys. Maybe a little bit later on into the game, if Dream decides to, for example, take this expansion, or this one over here, or this one over here. But the third base, in general, can be defended quite well. At the same time, I should defend the natural ramp, too. So, it's just going to be Ling Bane, by the way, for now. I like full Ling Bane a lot, especially... I like Ling Bane a lot, especially when you go for quick upgrades. In this situation, I don't know. It's going to be very, very Zergling Baneling Queen heavy, I guess. Queens are even being rebuilt. There's already 11 of them out. Alright. Armory comes up at the conventional time as well, so he's going to be able to go into 2-2 right away, which is very important. Combat shield is done. Stimpack is done. 1-1 is finishing right now. Great timing right here, actually, by Dream to move out. He's going to be 2 upgrades ahead on those Marines. Do not underestimate that. Although the Banelings don't really care about it too much, there's no denying that those Marines are going to be quite a bit more powerful here for at least a little while. Even though the creep is being pushed back right here. Well, apparently it was harassing as well with a Liberator. Even though the creep is being pushed over here on this side of the map, the creep is moving on the top section as well as in the center. Reynor would love to go for a run-by here. Maybe he can blow up the supply depots. Don't think that's a bad idea. Okay. One Zergling over there scouts roughly what's going on. Oh, he actually lowers the depot! No, Dream! Oh, God. Okay, well, that is really unfortunate. He just lowered the supply depot as the Zerg player was ready to go in for the run-by. Reynor would have wasted probably half a dozen or so Banelings on that wall. But now, well, I mean, not only does he push back this army, because obviously he can only micro one area at once, Yeah, Dream also ends up taking quite a lot of damage right there in the natural expansion. Unfortunate. I think he was just ready to roll down a couple of those units to get into a better spot. Banelings actually right now. Ooh. Well, they get into... Ooh, does he see them? Oh, he does. Okay, I was going to say, they got into a cheeky spot. I don't think he was really going to be able to roll by, unless the depot is once again down. So usually what Terran players do at this level is that they have one depot down, and then they rally all of their reinforcements on top of that supply depot, and it creates like a semi-wall-off without blocking your own unit's pathing, right? So, yeah, I think that Dream was just, you know, starting to rally on top of it, and then those Zerglings arrived. 4th command center on the low ground. Go ahead, Reynor. It's there for the taking. That's so many queens, man. 16 queens? 69 Zerglings? Okay, that's pretty nice. No, but 16 queens? Really? So it's basically like, you know how like Hydraling Bane used to be a thing and then into Lurkerling Bane and stuff? It seems like this is just Queenling Bane. The strength of Queenling Bane is that you can't really, you can't really kill it. Like, this is an extremely... Well, assuming Zerg plays well, right? But this is an extremely difficult army to actually clean up. Lings actually coming in from the back as well. A couple of Banelings also coming from behind. Liberators get picked off. And Queens, when they're standing on creep and when they have some transfuge energy, they just do not die. It's super annoying. They're pretty cheap. They don't cost any larva, so it works out perfectly in combination with those Lings and Banes as well. One Hellbed apparently from earlier. I guess that's a Hellion from earlier, but that one is also joining this army here up north. Nicely done right there as well by Reynor. Alright. So even though I feel like Reynor was just barely holding on here for, I don't know, like the last 7 minutes or so, in this situation, he's looking quite a bit more solid. Terran is starting up 3-3 right away, which I like. Terran has also secured that 4th base, so Dream is definitely going to be able to continue macroing here. He's done a good job keeping the Zerg player at bay. But this is usually the moment where Reynor starts feeling a lot more confident. Reynor's going to be able to start doing whatever he likes. He's already at Hive. Ultralisk Cavern comes up. Adrenal Glands is also being researched, so that's the Zergling attack speed upgrade. Absolutely massive, especially when +3 finishes for the melee units. Heavy siege tank transition right now, though, from Dream. I wouldn't mind seeing Widow Mines, but siege tanks are also pretty good. Anyways, yeah, you see how this, like, area is left alone for, like, a minute, and immediately the creep gets pushed really far? That's the annoying part about it. Zerglings apparently ready to go for the run-by over here as well. There's only one tank ready to defend this. A lot of Lings are going to end up dying right there to the tank, but eventually they're streaming through. That's one tank going down, second tank taking damage, third tank taking damage as well. That being said, it does go at the cost of a base at the 12 o'clock position. So even though Dream loses a little bit over here, a couple of supply depots, a couple of siege tanks. Okay, he's going to be able to get 2 hatcheries killed right there because that one was not a cancel. Good micro backwards here as well, leaving the Marauders in the front. Marines run for their lives, and the depot wall will be re-established. Okay. Chitinous Plating comes up. That's the Ultralisk armor upgrade. +3/+3 is going to finish up very soon. Okay, so is he going to go for a Ghost transition? So, roughly speaking, right, against Ultras, does he... No, he doesn't know that there's Ultralisk coming at this point. Roughly speaking, there are 3 ways in which you can deal with Ultralisks. First off, Marauders. Marauders are shaky at best, but sometimes you can overwhelm the Zerg player and get like a tempo advantage because Marauders get built really quickly, and they are, yeah, pretty good against both Banelings as well as Ultralisks. Pretty good, not amazing. Second option is, of course, Ghosts. Ghosts have the snipe ability, super powerful, deals a lot of damage to Ultralisks. And third, we have Liberators. Now, it seems to be that there's like a preference or something. Like some Terran players really enjoy playing the Marauder style. I know, for example, Beyond was doing that for a while. It seems like Dream at this point is just looking to play Marauders as well. A lot of tanks have gone down, by the way, so far. Yeah, 11 siege tanks. 388 Lings. Okay, well now he sees Ultras. Well, I think he saw that anyway. He's really using the map, right? I like the way that Dream is using the terrain right here to his advantage a lot. We've seen him, like, put up those siege tanks in really annoying positions. Almost makes me want to see the Zerg player send a couple drones across just to mine out those minerals. Well, now he's definitely seen the Ultras. What's his response gonna be? Siege tanks, Marauders, and Marines. Okay. I don't think he's got a Ghost Academy here. A lot of units end up getting surrounded here, too. Nicely done. Reynor, in the meantime, is taking the entire bottom left-hand side of the map. So he's got this base taken relatively easily, and this one as well. He's retaken the base at the 12 o'clock as well. Okay, Transfusion goes down on one of those Ultras. Widow Mines. I like how he's, like, been playing against Ling Bane the whole time. He's like, no, siege tanks, that's fine. And now that he sees it's Ultras, he's like, no, okay, you know what I need? Widow Mines. Now, he starts up a couple of Liberators, too, which I don't mind. I think Liberators are a pretty easy transition to make. Ghosts can be quite hard, but Liberators are really good. Obviously, those are more set it and forget it type of units. Man, the transfuses are so sick. So that heavy queen count from earlier, right? There's still 14 queens left over. Obviously, some are being used for transfusions and stuff, but a lot of them right here are also healing up those Ultralisks. And when you're making Ultras, you don't really need that many queen injects anymore either, because obviously, at that point, you have a lot of hatcheries. So Ultras are obviously also very expensive and very supply heavy, so you don't need that much larva for them. So what I'm trying to say is the queens can save up a lot more energy a lot more conveniently here as well. A lot of Zerglings, though, are running away from those hatcheries, too. I think that this fight was actually really nice for Dream. It looked to me like Reynor was very far ahead in this battle earlier, but right now Dream pushes back this force, kiting it off creep. This siege tank over here has been having a field day as well. Oof, okay. Only 4 command centers, though, here for Dream. I mean, technically speaking, he's got a 5th one, but he's only on 4 bases. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 base Zerg right now, going up against 4 base Terran. I mean, he doesn't have drones everywhere. Soon, I guess, it's going to be 1 base less. Hatchery lives for now. A couple of Zerglings coming in from the back as well. Queens are going to be useful here when it comes to picking off those Liberators, too. It is a bit of a minefield out here, though. Ultras are a bit awkward. They tend to clump into each other, as well as apparently the Queens. Even Zerglings sometimes. Siege tank on the high ground, once again helping out, too. Dream doesn't have a lot of money. Dream is not a rich Terran player. Normally, we see these kind of styles. Man, we need an overseer here. But normally, we see this sort of Terran style off of, like, 5 bases, right? With 5 base mining. In this particular instance, it's starting to look a lot more like an all-in for me. There's finally the 5th CC floating on over. I think he had a lot of time to morph that one into a planetary fortress. Can't really blame the man because obviously it's expensive. Small Marauder hit squad. Okay, we'll be able to finish up the hatchery. Nice job right there by the South Korean Terran. Yeah, Ultras are so awkward, man. Like, they even clump into Zerglings, right? Which is so silly. Anyways. Now that the planetary is not done, Reynor's going to be able to run into Zerglings. This is going to kill a lot of SCVs and obviously force the command center once again to lift up. At the same time, he's once more using the opportunity here, that chaos that he's creating for himself, to also now push into the center of the map a little bit more. Dream for now, though. Holds at the very least, but very dangerous. He's really disrespecting those Ultras, isn't he? Yeah, he's got basically just 23 Marauders here and 1 Siege Tank, and apparently that's all he needs to deal with those Ultralisks. Ultras aren't that amazing. I mean, I think Ultras are okay when you're even. I think Ultras are okay when you're ahead. I think Ultras in every other circumstance, though, are a bit shaky. They can be really good. I mean, yeah, it makes sense, I guess, that Reynor made that many Ultras this game, because he made so many Queens, too, but the tier 1 unit right now for Terran is killing the tier 3 units of Zerg, and it hurts me as a Zerg player just a little bit. Just a little bit. Ooh. That being said, a lot of units right now running up the ramp. Getting a lot of work done. Eventually, though, reinforcements arrive. A couple of units pulled back as well from their outer bases, and Dream is going to be able to push those units back. Man, he is all over the map. I love it. Notice how he kind of plays a little bit like Bjorn does, but then without as much of a focus on medevacs. So it's very bio-heavy, so very Marine Marauder focused. and very multitask heavy, but he's not afraid to just march units, right? I feel like Bjorn would always send medevacs around the perimeter, the edge of the map, and then, you know, land them in the different locations, but Dream just simply walks them over in the same spot. It's a bit faster. It actually hits a little bit earlier as well, so it might be a bit different to deal with as a Zerg. Infestor is going to be coming up here as well. Okay. I like it. Large amount of Zerglings are running over here, but the base is already gone. I would love to see just like 5 Corruptors added into this army. Just because it can stop a lot of those medevacs. Like, how many medevacs have gone down this game? 11. It's actually more than I thought. Most of the time it feels like... Oh god, he's even coming in. Look at him abusing the terrain of this map. I love it. So nice. Most of the time though, like Ultras are gonna be super awkward there, man. Marauders are gonna be like plugging the hole right here. Yeah, that Ultra here is not gonna get anything done. It's just blocking a lot of the links. At the same time, okay, this is a good little push right here from Reynor. Kills a ton of SCVs. Is he gonna be able to kill the planetary fortress? He will. Okay, that's a really good pickup there for Reynor, who once again pulls ahead when it comes to the supply count. Terran's starting to run out of money, by the way. Like, this is the old main base, full of energy, so immediately it drops. Okay. I was saying that Terran was starting to run out of money, right? Let's have a look at that income graph. Or income, like, tab, rather. Just give it a second. Those mules need to return their money. There they come. Even though he's only at 33 SCVs right now, he's doing a pretty good job holding on. He's making very cost-efficient units, right? Reynor is starting to be a little bit more ballsy, fighting this far off creep. He's got 72 workers of his own. Terran is pretty much broke. Dream does also not have a whole lot of energy right here on those medevacs. So those Terran units don't get healed up very well, which is why the Ultras, I think, are going so deep. Queens over here, though, walk over the minefield and they will get picked off. Reynor tries to see if he can force his opponent out of this game, but Dream so far is telling him, nope. Not gonna allow you to do that, my man. I can't blame him. Base in the bottom left. Once again, a lot of trouble. Widow Mines get some good connections. Those Ultras are running very low. Like, the supply count is a bit deceiving. Okay, lovely pickup right there by Dream. Manages to get out of there. He sees the Infestor as well. Fungal Growth would be a disaster right now. One Fungal Growth can end this game. Marauders, though, unloading right there on the high ground. Okay, this Ultra has taken a lot of damage. These Ultras will maybe actually also get picked off right now by those reinforcing Terran units. Reynor put himself in what seems to be a trap as Terran units come running down the ramp. Dream trying to see if he can capitalize on this situation. Liberator up in the air as well. Doesn't really have money right now to just casually scan. Look at the amount of Terran units, actually. Oh my god, those mules, man. Those mules that were mining over here all of a sudden created like a huge influx of Terran infantry. Man, it hurts to see those Ultras derping around so much. Like, these Ultras would be so much better if they were actually fighting. Like, they're just standing there walking. Infestor gets target fired down. Hatchery here will go down as well. Okay, Dream. Actually pulled ahead right there on the supply count for a little bit. Ay. This has been an extremely back and forth game here for a while. Terran's so broke, except for the base at the 6 o'clock, right? So this expansion has not been acquired. He's actually going to try and float the natural command center on over towards the center of the map. A lot of Widow Mines set up everywhere. They have a very respectable amount of kills as well. Hatchery in the center of the map has been acquired. A couple of Liberators up in the air. Terran reinforcements, though, are ready to watch the base at the 6 o'clock. Ultras derping around for a little bit, and by the time they get into the battle, two of them, well, one of them at the very least died. There's a Fungal going down, but good spread right there by Dream, maximizing the amount of value that this Terran army can deal. And even though Dream was very far behind when it came to the supply count, Reynor decides to tap out. Alright, so this is the point that Reynor GG's. Even though the supply count at this point is dead even, And maybe it's a little bit of an early GG. There's really no way that he's going to be able to push back this army. These Ultras are still quite a while away from being out. And then, I mean, by the time that those units are out and he can maybe start contesting this force, I think 2 of these hatcheries would have already fallen. And considering the base over here is dead and the one over here on the left is mining out as well, there's really not that much anymore for the Zerg player to do, especially since Terran is now securing the center one as well. There is a bit of a Zerg army in this area of the map, but I'm pretty sure the reinforcements will be able to deal with that just fine. So even though it does seem like a bit of an early GG, I think it's justified. Now, real quick, just because I was curious myself, it turns out the interface is kind of bugged out over here, because apparently it was never made with 1,000+ Zerglings dying, or at the very least 4 digits worth of Zerglings or any unit dying over the course of a single game of StarCraft. But there it is, 1,107 Zerglings have died. This screen, though, does really show you the strength of that Marine Marauder medevac-based army, and obviously also, yeah, the cost inefficiency of that Zerg force, right? Maybe this is a little bit of Zerg bias, but I would personally like to see maybe a small improvement to the Zerg late game. Something like maybe a small speed buff to the Brute Lord, or maybe making the Ultralisks just a little bit better. I think as far as making Ultras better goes, one of 2 options would be nice. First off, allowing them to walk over Zerglings, you know, like Ultralisks do, or sorry, like Colossus do over like other Protoss units. That would be nice. Alternatively, just make the Ultralisk like 10% smaller. That way it would spend so much less time derping around and a lot more time fighting. I think that would probably make them a little bit better. Either way, doesn't really matter anymore. Beautiful game right here by Dream. Really well played. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, hit that like button down below. If you want to see more, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And today I also want to give a special shout out to the Patreon supporters. Thank you very much for supporting the channel directly. But for now, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day. Don't forget to smile, and I'll see you once again in the next one.